हेलो गाइस, वेलकम यू ऑल टू एआई की पाठशाला। एआई की पाठशाला आपकी अपनी पाठशाला है। सो यू कैन कम एंड ज्वाइन अस एट एआई की पाठशाला. आई कंडक्ट free live session every day at 10 p.m. IST. So those of you who want to access my free live session, they can go to the description section of the video and join my Telegram group from the link provided there. In this way, because I post my joining link in the Telegram group only, so by joining the Telegram group, you can have an access to my live sessions. So that's all. So this is the third session of errors and exception handling in Python. So we already have covered the two sessions and we already have covered all the basic concepts and everything. So today we are going to delve deep into it and we will see what other things are left. So let me share you my screen first. And one thing, guys, please keep on typing along with me. Please keep on coding along with me. Keep asking questions. Keep interacting with me. And whatever a silly question, I love to answer it. It doesn't matter what the question is. So question is never silly. Always understand, because whatever thing you are asking, definitely you don't have a clarity of it. So until unless you don't have the clarity, you will not enjoy the session. So I don't want you to sit idle and keep listening, keep interacting. That's all. So let me share you my screen. So I suppose I am visible to you. My audio and screen is visible to you. So this is the 37th session. Fine. Is my Jupyter notebook visible to you guys? Can I get a quick yes or no? Can I get a quick yes or no? Am I audible to you guys? Please tell me. Please confirm me.
Yes, yes.
Fine. So, yesterday we have discussed about what was the two things that we have mainly discussed yesterday? Can you guys tell me? Can any one of you tell me? What was the last thing that we have discussed yesterday? What are the two programming approach that we have discussed yesterday? LBLF and EFP. Look before you leap, and EFP, easier to ask for permission, then easier to ask for forgiveness than permission. And last thing we have discussed about the memory error. Now, let me write one program for you. This is a program of related to the file handling, and let me show you how this all is working. So first let's write try block, because whatever thing that may give me an error, or there is chances of giving me an error, throwing me an error, I will put it inside a try block. So inside a try block, let's try to open one file. Open one file. So give the name of the file. Let's give the name of the file demo underscore file. This is the name of a file. And I want to open this file in write mode. So I am writing W here. So, and when I have opened this file, I want to write something inside this file. So write something inside this file. Let's change the name of this file demo underscore file to demo underscore file 15, because demo underscore file may exist in my directory already, so I am replacing the name. So f dot write and write anything inside this file. So write my name is AI Ki Pathshala. This is the thing I want to write inside this file. Now, second thing is that if there may arise any error, so this is called IO error. IO error means input output error. This is one type of error. We have already discussed lot of different types of error. This is also one type of error, which is called input output error. So to handle the error, if it occurs inside this try block, I'm using this except block. And I'm giving the name of the error IO error. So what this IO error will do? This will check the error related to input output error. This is on this error. If I am mentioning a specific type of error, if I am mentioning the name of any specific type of error, so what this except block will do, it will only check for that specific error. It will not check for the error in general. So now what I want to, if there is an error, so let's write something here. Let's write error, and after that let's write could not find file or read data. This is I want to write. Now, another block of code I want to write it, that is called else block, ELSE. Let me first finish writing, then I will explain you each and everything. And I want to print this thing, content written successfully. And at the end, I want to close this file. Let's close that close. So, see, let me explain you this entire code once again. In the try block, what I am doing, I am opening one file. This file name is called demo underscore file 15 in write mode. Why I am opening this in write mode? Because I want to write something inside this file. And whatever thing I want to write, I am writing this thing inside this write statement inside this thing. My name is AI Ki Pathshala. Let's say if this thing, let's say if the file, if the error occur, if this code will throw any error, for that I am handling that error with the help of this except block by using this IO error. And if it comes inside this except block, it will print this particular statement which I have written, error could not find file or read data. If it could not able to find the file, or if it could not able to read the data inside it, it will throw me an error. And to handle that error, I am using this thing. And when it comes inside this except block, it will give me this print thing. So if try block will not execute, will throw you an error. Let me explain you in this way. Let me open my pencil. So let's say if the try block will not execute, if it throw me an error, then my control will come to the except block and this block of code will get executed. And let's see, let's if let's say my try block of code will get executed, that means I do not get any error, everything is fine. So this except block of code will not come into picture. My control will directly come after the try block, it will go to the else block, and this else block of code will get executed. So this else block of code will only get executed when the try block of code will get executed. If my try block of code will not get executed, this else block of code will also not get executed. Only this except block of code will get executed. So let's do this with by running this same program. Let's run this program and see what happens. Let me run it. See, I am not getting error. I am getting content written successfully. That means my try block of code has executed properly. And after that, my control doesn't go inside this except block, and I am directly, my control is coming to the else block, and I'm able to print this statement, what I have written inside this else block, content written successfully, and I am doing f.close. Now, tell me one thing, this demo underscore file 15 actually doesn't exist in my directory. I have given some random name here. But why didn't it is throwing me error? It is not throwing me any error because if you revise the file handling topic, whenever I want to create any file, new file, this is the way of creating a new file also, and this is a way of opening the existing file also. So I want to open the, if the file doesn't exist, this statement open file name, comma, this in write mode. This, what it is doing, since this demo underscore file 15 doesn't exist in my directory, so it is creating it, because this same open function will open your existing file, or if the existing file doesn't exist, it will create a new file.
Create a new file.
So this new file is getting created here, and it is created in creating in write mode. That's why I'm able to write the content inside it, whatever thing I want to write inside it. Fine.
Fine.
And final, that means this thing is this block of code is executing. So if the try block is executing, then I'm this try block is not throwing any error. So that's why this except block will not come into picture. My control will go from try to else, and whatever I have written inside it, I will get it. So what I have written, I have written this print statement here, content written successfully, and finally I'm able to close it. So it is, let's see, let's do one thing. Let's write printf here. Printf here. So, but you will not be able to print it because you have to change the mode first. So let's not get into it. Could you understood this? Shall I move ahead? Sankar sir, have you understood this thing or not? If you have not understood, if you have any doubt, kindly clarify. Sankar sir? Sankar sir? Are you there? Are you there, sir? Okay. Fine. Now, now let's see. I am the same code I am writing in a different way, in a very simple way. Let's see. Open. Let's simply copy this thing from here so that it is easy. Fine. F dot write. So now same thing is here, and just print AI ML DL. Let's write something inside this. So what I am doing right now, let's change this to read mode. Now see, demo underscore file 15, since it has been created here before this, that means this file exists in my directory. Now I want to open this file, but I want to open this file in read mode. So I have given R here. What R will do? R will open my file in read mode. So, and I want to write something inside it, f.write, and I am writing this thing. My name is AI Ki Pathshala, let's say. And thereafter, I want to print something else. So let's print it AI MLDL. This is what I want. But, and let's run this code. I am getting an error. Can you please explain me, Ruchi, why I am getting this error? Or Mr. Sankar sir, if you have came from the break, you can
Because
also
we
explain. Have you came out of the break, sir? Sankar sir? I suppose
don't
Sankar sir
think.
is still on the break. And when he will come, I will ask.
Sorry.
So where you have went? You went for a break?
No. I was here only.
Oh, no. You are telling lies. We have
No, I was here.
because for the last 5 minutes, I was asked your name almost 50 times and you haven't responded.
No. There was some issue with this thing.
Okay. So if that's fine. Anyway. So can you please explain any one of you why I am getting error here in this thing?
Because we have chosen method, reading method, and
Right.
we are writing it somewhere. So
Right.
this will not execute. We have to
Yes,
change
correct,
the method
correct.
first.
Right.
Okay, Ruchi is correct because I have opened this file in read mode and I'm trying to write inside it. So this will not be possible. To write inside this file, I have to open this in write mode, either in write mode or in other mode. Like let's say there is also a mode of read and write mode. So you can either open it in read or write mode, or you can simply open it in write mode. Then you will not get this error. That's why I am getting this error. Now I want to resolve this issue with the help of file handling so that I do not get this error. So now let's execute this same program with the help of try except. So first write this try block. So inside this try block, what I want, this thing, let's say, let's just copy it and paste it. So see, I want to open this file in read mode and I want to write something inside it. So this is for sure. This is just I'm showing you for your understanding. So by just looking at this point of time, because you know that this file already exists and this is kind of thing that someone has, let's say I have mistakenly done this thing. Instead of this write mode, I have mistakenly written R here. Fine. I have opened this file in read mode because of some mistake. I have done one mistake and I want to write something inside it. Definitely it will throw me an error.
Yes.
So if it throw me an error, I want to handle it. So
Okay.
I will handle it with the help of except block.
Except.
EXCEPT, except. And what to handle this type of error, this is called IE error. This type of error falls into the category of IE error. There are a lot of different types of error is there. So there is a complete list of errors is there, but I am here discussing only the main errors. And at the end, I will tell you also how you will, you do not need to remember all these different error types. Only you can use one error type and error, and your task will be done. So I will show you in some time. So let's focus here. So this category of error falls in IO kind of error. Fine. So I have done this except block written, and inside this except block, let's write the same thing what I have written here. Couldn't find file or read data. Couldn't find file or read data, same thing. And now write else block. Why I want to write the else block? Same thing, do it in else block. Copy it from here and paste it. If let's say instead of this, let's first execute it and see what happens. If I simply run this, still my program is running. Are you getting? It is not throwing any error because this is in this block is not running. This block is not actually is throwing me error. So it is coming in the except block, and except block is handling it by giving me this statement what I have written here. Error, could not find file or read data. So my program is still running, but it is giving me what I have given here as a print statement. It is giving me that thing. But same thing when I was trying to do here, it was throwing me an error. So could you understand the difference between the use difference? How to use this try, except, and else block?
Yes.
Have you understood? Same thing
Yes.
you are writing here, and same thing you are doing here, but here you are getting an error, and here you are not getting an error because here we have handled it. This is called exception handling. The same thing is called exception handling. Now, let's do one more question on this. And no, we have already. So now let's do some next level question. Fine. Now let me try to explain you one more thing. Here I am taking this same code here. Fine. See, so you have understood this try block, you have understood this except block, you have understood this else block, and there is one more thing. I have already explained this in the first session, but let me explain it again, which is called finally block. Finally. This is called finally block. So let's write something inside it. Let's write, I will always execute. I will always execute. So what will happen? Let me tell you first, let me explain you, then I will. So why this is not working? Okay. See, if my try block of code will not run, what will happen? Tell me, you guys. Shankar sir, tell me, if my try block of code will not run, what will happen? Any one of you, Ruchi? You?
It will move to except block.
So let's see, this time this block of code is not working. Fine. So where it will go? it will go to the except block. After that, what will happen? Is the else block of code execute or not?
No. It will not.
So this block of code will also not execute.
But finally will execute.
Yes, but finally will execute. Now, there is a second scenario. Let's say this try block of code is executed. So in that case, is this except block of code will execute?
No.
No. Is this else block of code execute?
Yes.
Is this finally block of code execute? Yes.
Yes.
That I wanted to tell you. Finally block of code will execute in any situation.
Okay.
Whether the exception is occurring or whether the exception is not occurring. Finally block of code will execute. In every time it will execute.
Okay.
Are you getting my point? Now let's, Shankar sir, I am
Yes.
not hearing anything from you. Have you understood this thing or not?
Yes, yes.
Okay, fine. So, where this gone? Now, let's understand this with the help of program execution. Then I will tell you. So, this is the same code that I have written here above. So, here what I was getting, this try block was not executing, this except block was executing, and I was getting this statement. Now, let's say here, I have nothing, I have only added this finally block here, and everything is same. And let's run this code again. What I am getting? I am getting this this except block is getting executed, and this finally block, whatever I have written inside this finally block, this print statement, I will always execute. This is executing. Could you understand? Now, let's take one more scenario of where this thing, let's take this thing, let's take this file. So this, if I run this file, it will execute and I will not get any error. So this try block will get executed. So this block will not execute and this else block will execute. Now add this finally block here. Finally block here. And write same thing, print. And what I want to print, I will, this block will always execute. Write this thing and just run it. What you are getting? Whatever thing, because try block is executing, so except block will not execute. Else block is executing, that's why I'm getting this content written successfully, and this finally block will always execute. So whatever I have written inside it, it is executing. This block will always execute. So do you have the can you understand the difference? So finally block of code will always execute, whether the try block get executed or not.
No.
Fine.
Fine.
So you have the clarity of this.
Yes.
Now practice this same thing with the help of, let's practice the same concept with the help of some example. So let's define one function here and keep typing along with me. Let's define one function here. Ask int. This is a
Can you come back to this one? Previous one, yes, just a minute.
Okay.
Okay.
Fine. Okay. So let's write one function here. Def ask int. This is the function name of the function. And inside this try block, I am taking an input from the user. And what input I want to take? I want to take the integer value input from the user. So write first input function and ask the user to enter integer. So this is an input to enter integer, and just write int here, enter input integer, enter integer, and then write except block here. So what is the purpose of writing the except block here? Let me first write it, then I will explain you. Looks like you did not enter an integer. Fine. What then write finally block. I am not writing else block. Finally block and write print finally I executed. Fine. So what I'm trying to do, I am asking the user to enter any integer value. So if the user will enter integer value, so just I am asking the user to enter an integer value. And if the user is entering integer value, so it's fine. This try block will get executed, and this finally block will get executed. Finally, I executed. Fine. But let's say if in spite of the integer value, if the user is going to enter some other value, let's say string value, in that case, this block of code will not execute because I want integer value. But if someone is entering any string value, how I can convert this string into the integer? I cannot convert. So this block will throw me an error, and I want to deal with that condition. That's why I have written this except block. And inside this except block, I've written this print statement, look like you didn't enter an integer. And in any case, whether I have entered an integer or not, this finally block of code will always get executed. So do you understood this? But
yes. But what type of error do we make?
okay.
We have not written the error name
Yes,
of the error.
if you do not write anything, let's say you do not write anything and run it, is it executing?
No.
Is it executing? Yes, it is executing. It is
But
running.
it's not,
It is
we're
running.
not giving an error.
You have to call, this is a function. You have to call the function to get anything.
Okay.
So I am calling here. Let's say I am calling here, and let's see, it is asking me to enter integer. I am entering the integer value, and it is executing. Is it not executing? Yes, it is executing. It is executing. So, and let's enter the string value here. So still it is executing. So it is not mandatory to write it. But here you are not getting a specific type of error which you wanted the user to get familiar. Are you getting this?
Yes.
Earlier, when you were using except something like IO error, if I write here, let's see, if I write after except IO error, it will give me a specific error, what comes under the IO category. Fine. But let's do one thing. let's take the same code and let's, after finally, what will happen? Let's print something. Let's print 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 val. I want to print this value. Fine.
Fine.
I have made a little changes in this code, and let's run this. Now, call this function ask int, and just call it. First, let's enter some integer value. There is no issue in that. It's working good. But let's execute this time, and this time let's enter any string value and enter. You are getting error. Why you are getting error? Because see, you are getting error here because whatever error you are getting, you are supposed to get in this try block. You are handling that error with the help of this except block. But this print val, what I am trying to print here, cannot be printed here. And I have not handled this error. That's why I am getting this error because of this print value. Because I have only handled this error, na? I have not handled this error. And I want to print something in which I am already getting the error. So that's, and I have handled it here with the help of this except block. But for this, I haven't done anything. That's why I'm getting the error. So is this thing clear?
No. Please explain once more.
So tell me what you have not understood here.
The error.
Which error?
The last one.
Okay. Have you understood this thing?
Yes.
Fine. So only I have added one statement called print value. Fine.
Fine.
And I have called this function ask int. And this time I have entered any integer value. So it is, since if I will enter any integer value, this try block will get executed and it will not throw me any error.
Yeah.
So finally I executed and I wanted to print this value, whatever I have given here, and this value 34 is also printed here with the help of this print value. Till here everything fine? Now
Yes.
I am again calling this function ask int. This time, instead of the integer value, I am giving it some string value, this thing. So this try block of code will not execute because it is expecting an integer value.
Yes.
But I am supplying it in a string value, and a string value cannot be converted into integer. So this block will throw me an error.
Okay.
And I am handling this error with the help of this except block. Are you getting?
Yes. Yes.
So I am getting this thing. Looks like you did not enter an integer.
Yes.
Till here, everything fine?
Fine.
Now, this finally block will always execute. So I am getting this finally executed.
Yes.
Till here, any problem?
No.
Now, I have written this print value. So this value thing is already getting error here.
Okay.
Because I have entered a wrong value. Instead of the integer value, I have entered a string value.
String value, yeah.
And this is throwing error.
Yeah.
And this thing that is inside this try block, I have handled this error with the help of this except block.
Yes.
but I have not handled this. This value
Okay.
will
Now I got it.
here also throw me an error, but I am not handling this error. That's why I am getting the my program is throwing me an error because I have handled this error, but I'm using the same value here, which I was using here. Fine, but this is already throwing me an error. So this, if I will handle it here also, it will not throw me an error. Are you getting my point?
Yes.
Fine. So let's go a little deeper into it, and let's just copy the same code and let me explain you something more. The extension of this. Let's say same function I am using in the try block. I am asking the user to enter the integer value, and if the user is not entering an integer value, then it is asking it to print this thing with the help of this except block, and this finally block will always get executed. It is not mandatory to write the else block also. If I will skip else block, it is fine, but this finally block will always execute if I am writing here. Now I am writing this one try block inside this except block. So write this try block inside. You can say it nesting of try except try catch. In common language, it is this also. This is called try catch. So now I am entering the same thing here at this try block, and also write this except block here, except except block here, and inside this except block write inside this try block, let's write input enter try again. I'm writing this try again, and let's write enter, please enter. Let's write it like please enter an integer, Fine. Now inside this except block, I am writing print, handle it. Fine. So see what I am doing here. Let me explain you. So this see this what I am doing. So I am asking the user to enter the integer value. Let's say user is not entering integer value. Instead of this, user is entering some string value. Let's say x, y, z. Let's say user is entering. So this try block will throw an error because this is only accepting the integer value, and I am giving it a string value. So this will throw an error. Is it clear, Mr. Sir?
Yes.
So where it will come? It will come inside this except block. This block of code will not execute, and it will come inside this except block. And what I have written inside this except block, print looks like you did not enter an integer. So first this line will get printed. After that, my control will go here, and I am writing one more try catch block here. And again, I am asking the user to enter the value, and I am asking user try again, please enter an integer. And let's say if the user is again not entering the integer value, instead, in spite of the integer value, it is entering some string value. So this will again throw me an error. This block will again throw me an error. So this except block will get executed, And finally, I want to print handle it. So this will get printed. And finally, this, when it comes out from this whole try catch block, except block, it will come again here finally, and this block will always get executed. Do you understood this or not? Basically, what I am doing, inside this except block, I am writing one more try except block. Ruchi?
Yes.
Have you understood?
Yes.
Mr. Sir, any doubt?
Yes, no.
Yes, no. What it means? Yes, no.
No.
Either
It's okay.
yes or no.
No, it's okay.
So have you understood it, na?
Yes.
Fine. So let's run it and see what happens. So I'm running it, and this is a function. So we have to do the function call, ask int, and I'm calling this function. First of all, I'm entering some integer value. Let's say I've entered this thing. So what happens? This try block is not throwing any error. So this except block is not coming into picture, and this block is executing. So I am getting this. Finally, I get executed. Everything fine here? Any problem till here? Ruchi, tell me.
So just wait 2 minutes. Hmm.
Okay. So see, take a break of 2 minutes. And so thereafter we are. So see, you are getting an indentation error. So I'm giving you step by step method to not do any indentation. First, write this thing. Let's say, write this thing. Def ask int. Fine.
Hmm.
Thereafter, what do you have to write? What do you want to write? This try and semicolon. So just put your cursor at the end of this semicolon and press enter key. Fine. So wherever your cursor will come, just type try there. Or if you want to see, you can simply also do like this. You can press the back button and come here and then press enter key. It will automatically take this indentation, this 4 space gap. It will automatically take. Then after try, what you want to write? You want to write this thing. So what you have to do? After this semicolon, after the try wala semicolon, press your take your cursor there and you can press enter key, and wherever your enter key will go, just enter whatever you want to type there. Thereafter, for this except block, see, this try and except will come with the same indentation. They are both aligned. So you have to keep the indentation of this try and except same. See, if you make changes, if you simply do this thing and press 1, 2, 3, 4, it will automatically come along with this indentation, because this is a 4 indentation space. So if you just take this here, you can also do it like this, except you can put it along with this, and if you press enter, it will come here. Just press 2 space back. 1. If you only press 1 space, 1, 2, 3, 4. So press 1. Simply come here and press 1, 2, 3, 4. This is fine. And after this except block, you want to print something. You want to print this thing, let's say. So press your cursor here and enter and write wherever your cursor goes. Now, this thing you have written. Now you want to write this try and except block inside this except block. So what you will do? Same thing you have to repeat. Press enter key. Since you want to put try block inside this except block, so this indentation of this print and this will remain same. So just print this try. Just print this try. Write this try here. And thereafter you want to print this value. So even if you print it here and place your cursor just after this colon and press enter key, it will automatically take its position. Then after try, you have to put this except block, but that except and this try and the except associated with this try will take the same indentation. So EXCEPT. Since this is the right, it is giving you like red. So that means indentation is not correct. If I simply press backspace, it is taking the same indentation. Then after this is except, press this thing, place colon, and thereafter you want to print this. So just I am copying it from here and just place your cursor after colon and press and just place your cursor before this after the colon and just press enter key. It will automatically take its indentation. And now this finally will take the same indentation with this try and this except, because this try and this except is inside this except. But this finally, this try except and finally is in same indentation. So what you have to do, you have to place the finally with the same indentation as with the try. And this is a 4 indentation space. So simply press 1 space bar, 2 space bar, 3 space bar, 4 space bar, and print it. It will automatically take its indentation. Do you got it, Ruchi?
Yes.
So is this thing clear? Indentation.
Yeah.
Shall I move it?
Yeah.
Now see what I was trying to explain you this time. So let me remove it. So this time what is happening? Yeah, I am entering the correct value, correct integer value, and this try block is executing and this finally block is executing. Now let's call this function again, and this time enter some string value, Ruchi. See what it is giving you. Enter integer Ruchi. Looks like you did not enter the integer. Why it is giving me? Because inside this except block I have written this. Looks like you did not enter an integer. And again in the after that again I have written one try block, and I am asking the user to try again. Please enter an integer. Fine. So if the user will enter the correct integer, let's say if the user is entering the this time correct integer, so fine, it will get executed and finally this block will get executed. But again, let's again call this function. This time let's enter any string value, and again let's enter any string value. Again enter the string value instead of this integer value. What will happen? Handle it. So this except thing, whatever I have written inside this except block is writing it, and this finally block will getting executed, and I am not getting an error. So hope this is clear to you. There is nothing new in this. Now, Satanjiva.
Your sound is low. I think previously your sound was okay.
Oh yes, I have put my microphone below. Now is this clear?
Yeah, now it's okay.
When it was a 2-minute break, na, I put my microphone and I forget to put it. Yeah. Now is it fine? Fine. So keep reminding me of these small mistakes. So now I'm going to discuss the same question. Why I'm discussing with different scenarios, so that your previous concept will also get revised in this. So let's discuss the same question with the help of while statement, and use break statement also, and use try, except, and all those mix of all those things. So let's write this. Okay. So let's write the same function def. Instead of writing it again, simply I am copy pasting it. Try, except, else, finally. Try, except, else, finally. Finally. Except, let's. Fine. Just copy, paste. Fine. But I am making some changes here. So I am using this time while statement. So while true. Now see, I want this try to put with this indentation. So what I am doing, see, Ruchi, I am taking it there and pressing enter key. It will automatically take this indentation space. And I want this value to be with the indentation with this new try. So I am taking it there and pressing enter key. Thereafter, this except block, this except block will come in with the same indentation with this try block, and this print shall go along with this, and this finally block will come here, and this print will go with this thing. And in between, I also want to write one else block. Let's write else, ELSE, and print yes, that's an integer, and put break here, put break here, break here. So what is the purpose of writing the break? I will explain you. Same question is there, what I have discussed, but this time I am using while statement and break statement. Let's first understand it theoretically, then I will run this code. So what I have written, this is a function I have written. Inside this function, I was writing this statement called while statement, while true. What it means? Till this is true, because I have initially given this condition true. So it remained true always. It remained true always, because I have written this condition while true. That means it remains true always. Try, value, input integer. Let's say if you have entered a integer value, some integer value, let's say 25. So this except block will not come into picture. Instead, this else block will come into picture. And what will happen? Print, yes, that's an integer. Print this thing, so this will get printed. And what it is doing, this break statement will break the loop. Otherwise, what will happen? The control will switch from here to here, and it will keep on running, and we fall into the infinite loop. To break that infinite loop, because when it will come, always it will find the condition to be true, because I have already by default I have defined this condition to be true. Fine. So whenever it will come, it will always find the condition to be true, and it will keep on going and going, and we will fall into an infinite loop trap, and our program will never get executed. And finally, when the depth of this will reached, I will get an error. So to not fall into the infinite trap, I am using this break statement. So it will break the loop here. If I will not use the break statement, it will same way. Let's see this thing. This is always true. So let's say this time it is asking me to enter the integer value, but I am entering some string value xyz. So this time this block will not get executed.
No.
So it will come inside this except block.
Yes.
So first this line will get executed, and after that, if I do not put this break, it will again go into the infinite loop. That's why I am putting this break. Do you get it?
Yes.
So now run this code and let's understand. It is very simple code. So run it and call this function ASKINT and enter integer. Let's say this time I am entering in integer. So yes, that's an integer. Finally, I get executed, because what I have told you, this finally block will always get executed. Fine. Again, call this function. Again, call this function. And this time, instead of the integer, let's put some string value xyz. Looks like you did not enter integer. Finally, I executed. So hope this is clear. Fine. So let's move to the next level thing. This is also called user-defined exception. That means user can also define an exception. We can also define user-defined exception. That means user can also be able to define an exception or raising an exception. This is also called user-defined exception or raising.
Can you come back to the previous one? Just
this thing?
Yeah, just a minute.
Okay, write it.
Okay, yes.
Okay. This is also called raising an exception. So let's understand this. What is this raising an exception kind of thing? So let's understand this with the help of code only, because these things cannot be understood by simply theoretically. So I'm writing a code and then I will explain you the theory behind this. Def, I am just writing one function, and the name of function is def_exe. and I am passing one argument parameter A. And let's see, if A is less than 5, I am providing one condition. If A is less than 5, raise exception A. This is the exception which I am providing it. Let's say if what it means, whenever A is less than 5, raise exception. And what is that exception? A is the exception. Matlab, and finally, I want to return A. Return A. So this is what this function is doing. So this is called user defined exception. I am defining an exception as per my requirement. And I want to write a program where I want to raise exception whenever my value of A is less than A, less than 5. So if let's say I will execute this function, if I call this function, and if I pass any value which is less than 5, it should give me an exception. Otherwise, if I will pass any value which is greater than 5, it will not give me an exception. So, but I want to deal with that exception. So, how I will deal with that exception? See, this is a unique case. I will write first try block. Inside this try block, let's call this function RAISE raise underscore exe and pass some value. Let's say I am passing this 10. And I know 10 is greater than 5, so it will not throw me any exception because it is raising exception only when it is less than 5. And when it is greater than 5 or it is equal to 5, it is returning me the same value. So this is first thing. Now I want to print. Let's print res1. Second thing, let's do res2 here. And this time again call this function raise underscore exe, and this time write any value which is less than 5. Let's say I am writing 3 here, passing 3 here. Now print res2 here, and this is my try block, because whatever thing is supposed to give me an error, I will write it in try block. And to handle that error, I have to use the except block. So use now except block to handle the error, exe pt except block. Oh, sorry. Try and this except, sorry. Except exe pt except try. Inside this try block, I'm writing this thing. So I want to print this. Okay. Def range underscore exe range exception A. Find return A. Find. Now this try block. Except. E. This is throwing me Okay, fine. No, it's fine. So I was doing indentation mistake. Print. Let's say error is, and this is E. No. See what I am doing here. Let's first understand this. So how to get this thing? Close it and see. No. See, guys, are you there present? So I am writing this function, and this is a user defined exception. So user defined exception, I am writing this function def raise exe. If the value of a is less than 5, then raise this exception. For user defined function, I will use this keyword called raise. User defined exception. Whatever exception I want to raise, I will write this. First, I have to write this keyword called raise, thereafter space, and I have to write exception, exception. And let's say here a is the key point of exception, so I have to write this inside this bracket. And if a is greater than 5, then there will not be any exception, so return a. I want to return it. Now this is one thing that I have defined a function to define a user defined exception. Now I want to see, I want to handle this exception. So in the try block, what I am doing, I have taken one variable called res1, and I am calling this function raise underscore exe, and then I am supplying this argument 10. And you know that 10 is greater than 5, so it will not throw any exception and it will return value a. So this res value, res1, will have a value 10, and it is printing 10. So I will get 10 here. Print 10, so I will get 10 here. 10. My first output will be 10. Thereafter, I have taken one second variable and I have supplied 3 here. And 3 is less than 5. So it will throw an exception. This time it will throw an exception. So, but I want to print res2. Fine, I want to print res2. But this res2 is throwing an exception. So this block, this res2 will not execute because it will throw an exception, because this is less than 5. Now to deal with that exception, what I am writing this except block, and understand this, this exception is a BAP of all the exceptions. This is a class of exception. This is a class of exception. Whatever exception you are studying, zero division error, module not found error, or syntax error, or whatever, everything is derived from this exception, this class. This is something from where whatever arithmetic exception or logical exception or whatever exception we have seen till now, all those exceptions are a part of this exception. It all derived from here. So it is not possible for us to remember what to use in every situation. So simply you use this term called exception. So I'm using here except, in the except block, I'm using this exception as E. Simply you are giving an alias instead of this whole exception. You want to see, give it an alias as E. We have already discussed this, and I want to print E. So it will automatically print, this exception class will automatically give me an error, what it is supposed to give. Now let's run this program and see for yourself what happens. Now let's run this program. Let's run this. I'm running this. I'm getting 10 and error is 3. This 10 is coming from this part because it is not throwing any error, and this error is 3 is coming from this exception. Error is E. When I am giving this exception as E, this exception class automatically determines what error is. So it is determining that 3 is the error. So it is giving me error is, this is what I have written. So it is simply providing me this, and this E is this error. What the error is that you are printing, you are giving me 3 and you have to give something more than 5, because whatever you will give me less than 5, I will throw you an error. Is this concept clear to you or not? Please tell me. I suppose you guys have went to the deep sleep. Hello, hello.
No.
Any bhoot, any atma is live right now?
Yes.
So have you understood this or not?
Yeah.
Are you sure you have understood this?
The second race to another.
What?
Second try, the try in this try block, the second race to.
So let's do one thing. If you have a problem in understanding this, let's remove this. Can you understand now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there any issue in understanding now?
No.
Let's run it. Is everything fine? And let's now, instead of this thing, just write this thing. And let's run it. Now tell me, is there issue? If you are facing any issue, can you understand? I've written it both separately. Tell me.
I'm getting 10, and then there is a error, name exception is not defined. Okay, just a minute.
Ruchi, I'm asking you, have you understood or not now?
It is writing name exception is not defined.
Yeah.
So you must be doing something wrong. Shall I ping you my code? Just check.
No, code is same, yeah.
Everything is same. So you can share me your screen and I will check it out. I have pinged you the code. You can copy the code from the chat window and paste it. And let's see if this is working for you or not.
Can I share this thing?
First of all, I have, can you access the chat? I have sent you the code. Just copy the code from the chat and paste it in your cell. And let's try. You can always share a screen, not an issue. I'm going to take that. First of all, tell me, Ruchi, have you understood this thing or not?
Yeah.
Are you sure you understood this?
Yeah. Third
Anyway.
one. Third one.
Hmm?
The second one I'm not using.
Which second one? Tell me. Which second one?
The try
This
block.
thing?
The try block. Try
This
block.
thing?
Yeah.
So
No.
what you are not able to understand in this thing?
What is rest 1 and rest 2?
This is simply a variable. This is a variable, nothing else. I have whatever result I am getting from this function call, I am storing it in this variable rest1. And this is a variable at rest2. I am storing this result. See, Ruchi, what I am doing here. First, I have defined this except this function. Fine. Is
Fine.
there any problem here?
No.
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 Then what I am doing, I am using whatever thing that may throw me an error, I am putting it inside the try block. So I have defined this function. So whatever thing that function is returning me, I have to store it somewhere. That's why I am using some variable called rest2. You can use any variable. Rest2. And if I am calling this function, this raise underscore exe, and I am giving some value 3, and I want to print this rest2. I want to print this rest2. So now, whenever I call this function raise underscore exe and supply this value 3, since from the function I know a is whatever argument a is an argument here is less than 5. This 3 is less than 5. So since 3 is less than 5, it will raise an exception.
Yeah.
So since it will raise an exception, so this try block will not execute.
No. Okay, no.
So to handle this, I have to write this except block. So in the except block, I am writing exception as E, because this is a base class of exception. Every exception that we have studied right now is derived from this exception class.
Yes.
You have to write it like exception as E means you are now this E is an alias for this exception. Even if you do not want to write E, then you have to write full complete exception here as it is. And now here in the inside this except what I am writing error is this is thing that I am writing comma E. Now E will this exception class will automatically understand what is the exception, what is the error that is occurring, and it will show me here. So this time what I have done, so I have, since I have called this, I have supplied 3, it will throw me an error. So it is automatically it will understand that 3 is the thing that is giving me error. That's why the value E is like coming out to be here. Error is what I have printed, want to print, error is, and 3 is coming from this exception class. This 3. Do you get it now?
Yes.
Now, Shankar sir, what is your doubt? Tell me.
I got it. There was a mistake, sir.
There was a mistake?
Yeah, mistake. In the exception, I have written small e in place of capital E.
Okay, fine. So now I am completely exhausted. So today still our exception is not completed. Let me stop sharing you my screen and this screen, and So here I am. So I will not move ahead. This is the end of today, but still something is still left in error and exception handling. I suppose I will take one more class, but almost I have done a lot of things here. So even one class is sufficient. One more class is sufficient. So there is some more coding things and one more concept is there left. So I will discuss that. So maybe tomorrow we will be doing exception only. And after tomorrow, tomorrow is Saturday. So after tomorrow we have a session. And after tomorrow, we will then go to the next topic, this logging. And thereafter, we will move to the object-oriented programming. So that is all. If you guys are having any doubt, you can ask right now. I'm here to always help you. Otherwise, you guys will be feeling very happy today because your session has ended earlier than your expectation. I suppose.
Yes.
So that's fine. So go guys, have a good sleep and keep working. And I was getting a lot of noise from whose end? From Ruchi end. I don't understand why this noise. Fine, everyone. Fine, sir. If you want to guide us, Misra sir, you can guide us. I am happy if you can guide us in any way because you are the most senior person here. And I will take this opportunity to tell you that if anything you can give to us, share some knowledge. We are happy to get it from you. So anytime, whatever you want to feel that you that we that you can give something to us, definitely you are most welcome. And Ruchi ma'am, you also. This community is not like I am teaching to everyone because I even want to learn a lot of things from you people. So it is all about this because this is nothing. I know this coding thing and this machine learning, this AI, but there is a lot of things that I do not know, and there is a lot of things that you people know. So definitely I will learn from you people also. This is all. So I'm ending this session. Guys, whoever is watching this session, go subscribe, come and give us the feedback. That's all. So,
Subscribe channel AI Ki Pathshala.
uh, so